Ever feel like you're just kind of, along for the ride, like life's just happening to you?
Oh, I know that feeling.
Well, get ready. Because today, we're diving into a concept that might just flip the script on that whole idea. Niyati.
I like it.
We've got excerpts from this book, Niyati, The Play of Destiny. And let me tell you, it gets seriously fascinating.
It's way more than just a cool concept, though. Understanding Niyati is like understanding gravity, you know what I mean?
Okay, hit me with that. How so?
Well, think about it. You don't exactly fight against gravity when you're building a house. You kind of have to work with it, right?
Right, you got to factor it in.
Exactly. And Niyati's similar. It's like the underlying architecture of cause and effect. If you get a handle on it, it can help you navigate all the ups and downs of life with, well, a little more awareness.
So less about like raging against fate and more about like, okay, these are the rules of the game. Let's figure out how to play it.
Exactly. And, the book uses this really cool analogy to explain it. Imagine you're dropping those little drops of water into a bucket.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
Each drop, it creates those ripples that spread out, right?
Okay.
And eventually they come back to where they started.
Full circle.
Totally. So our actions, the choices we make, they're like those water drops. They create these ripples in our lives. And those ripples, well, those are the consequences of our choices. And they're what ultimately shape our destiny.
I like that a lot. It's poetic, but it also makes you realize that like every choice, it makes a difference, even if we can't see it right away.
Exactly. And the book takes it even further. It brings in these two other big ideas, karma and rebirth.
Okay, karma and rebirth. Those two always seem to go hand in hand. So what's the book's take on how they all connect to Niyati?
It breaks them down in a way that's really, really practical,
Okay, good, because sometimes it gets kind of heady.
It's easy for that to happen. So karma, it's not like some kind of mystical scorecard keeping track of every little thing you do.
Right, like some cosmic point system.
Yeah. It's more about this natural law of action and consequence. Every choice we make, it creates this sort of energetic ripple that ends up influencing our experiences.
Like those water ripples, but I'm guessing it gets a bit more, complex with rebirth thrown into the mix. Does the book actually get into what rebirth is?
It totally does. Rebirth, the way the book explains it, is basically the idea that our consciousness keeps going even after a single lifetime.
So it's like, we don't just start from zero every time.
Not at all. Imagine it more like you're carrying all the imprints of your past with you. The experiences, the choices, all that karma.
Whoa, okay, so those ripples we're making, they can actually stretch across lifetimes.
Exactly. The impact of our actions is way bigger than we usually realize.
That's a lot to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
And it definitely makes you think twice about the choices you make, knowing they might have consequences that last longer than, this lifetime. But if we're carrying all this baggage from past lives, is there any way to, change our path? Or are we just stuck riding these karmic waves?
That's where things get really interesting. It's actually where this whole Niyati thing becomes really empowering. The book talks about how we can get some clarity about our own personal paths through something called Jyotish.
Okay, Joyish. So we're talking about like Vedic astrology.
You got it. Birth charts, cosmic energy, the whole 9 yards.
Okay, Vedic astrology.
Yeah.
So we're talking about birth charts and cosmic energy and all that.
Right. But here's the thing. It's not about predicting your future.
Okay, good, because honestly, who needs that kind of pressure?
For real, Jyotish, it's more like, it's like a cosmic map or something.
I like that, a cosmic map.
Yeah, it just helps highlight your potential, your challenges, that kind of stuff.
So less about you will become a doctor and more like you might have this natural knack for, healing, service, something like that.
Yeah, but the book had this one example that really stuck with me. Imagine someone, they're dead set on being this big time actor, right?
Okay, I'm with you.
But their Jyotish chart, it suggests they've got this major talent for teaching.
Interesting.
So does that mean sorry, acting dreams are out of the question? Not at all.
Okay, good, because that would be kind of harsh.
Totally. It might just mean there's a more fulfilling path for them, maybe teaching acting, mentoring young actors, even starting their own theater school,
It's like instead of a straight line to a destination, maybe there's this whole winding path with scenic routes you never even considered. Yeah. And this helps you see those.
Exactly. It's not about limiting your choices. It's about understanding yourself better, strengths, weaknesses, all of it, so you can make better choices, navigate more effectively.
I like it. So we're not just stuck on autopilot, we're grabbing the wheel a little bit more.
Yes. And that leads us to another really key piece of all this, desire.
Okay, desire. Got it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can kind of see how that fits in, but how does that actually work with, with Niyati, with karma, with all of this stuff?
Well, the book makes it clear that our desires, a lot of times they actually carry over from past lives, and they can be these crazy strong driving forces.
Like leftover motivation from a previous life? That's wild.
Right. They influence our choices, the actions we take, even those ripples we were talking about. And this is a big but. The book also warns about, all the noise we're surrounded by in the world today.
Oh, tell me about it.
Right. With so much going on, it can be hard to figure out what we really want. You know what I mean? We're constantly bombarded with what we should be doing, what success is supposed to look like. It's easy to lose track of that inner voice.
Oh, 100%. Like everyone's trying to sell you something, a product, a lifestyle, a whole belief system. No wonder it's hard to hear yourself thinking all that. So how do we cut through all the noise? Like how do we figure out what we truly desire, not just what we've been told to want?
The book's answer, it's both super simple and super challenging. Cultivate a strong and discerning mind.
Easier said than done, I'm guessing.
Maybe. But it's all about learning to observe your thoughts and feelings without judging them.
Okay, so no more overthinking every little thing.
Exactly. Question your assumptions. Don't believe everything you think or everything you hear.
Like building mental muscle.
Yes. Learning to filter out distractions so you can tune in to what really matters.
I can get behind that. So it's kind of like we're training our minds to be less reactive, more intentional.
Exactly. And the book, it emphasizes this with a quote that really got me thinking. What we believe becomes our belief, and our beliefs determine our destiny.
Ooh, I like that. It's about the power of our mindset, right?
Totally. It's like this reminder. Our beliefs, whether we're aware of them or not, they hold so much power. They literally shape how we see the world, what we choose, our entire lives.
Okay, we've covered some serious ground here. We're talking actions creating ripples across lifetimes, Jyotish being this cosmic roadmap, the power of our beliefs and desires. A lot to unpack. But one thing that's got me curious, the book seems to focus mostly on our own personal journeys, right? But does this whole concept of Niyati, does it play out on a bigger scale too? What about families, communities, the world as a whole?
It absolutely does. The same principle, action and consequence, it scales way up.
So a whole society, they could be carrying all this karma from past choices, even if most people have no idea. That's kind of intense.
It is. And the book gives some really powerful examples. On a global scale, think about pollution.
Oof, yeah.
For centuries, we've been polluting the planet, often in the name of progress and all that. And now we're dealing with the consequences. Climate change, all that.
Yeah, that's a sobering thought. Makes you think about other stuff too, plastic. When it was invented, seemed like a great idea, right? But now.
Exactly. We're seeing the unintended consequences, and it's not pretty. The book highlights how even when we have good intentions, our actions can have these huge long-term consequences we just don't see coming.
We're bad at predicting the future, it turns out.
It's true. But the point is, it's a good reminder to think about the impact of our choices. Not just now, but generations from now.
Okay, so we're all part of this huge web of cause and effect, right?
Yeah.
Every choice we make, it's like we're shaping the world in a way. That's a lot to take in. It can feel kind of overwhelming, to be honest. So where's the empowering part? If this Niyati thing is all about understanding the forces shaping our lives, what can we actually do? How do we create a better future for ourselves and for the planet?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's where this concept, it goes from interesting to actually really empowering. See, understanding these forces, it's not about just giving in to fate. It's about making choices, but informed choices,
Okay, so it's not passive.
Not at all. It's about realizing we actually have way more agency than we think. The book talks about this idea of a discerning mind, and it goes even deeper into the 6 impurities of the mind. Ego, attachment, jealousy, all that stuff.
The things we struggle with.
Exactly. And these things, they cloud our judgment. They lead us to actions that, they create suffering for us and for others. But, and this is the good news, we can actually learn to purify those thoughts, those intentions.
Sounds like it takes work, though. Like flexing a mental muscle you didn't even know you had.
It does. But the more we practice, the more we start to align with who we really are, our true nature. The book calls it our Dharma. Right. And here's the amazing part. When we're coming from that place, from our Dharma, the actions we take, they're just naturally more harmonious. It's not just about what we want anymore. It's about the well-being of everyone, the whole picture.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like we're all connected in this big ecosystem, and the choices we make, they either add to the harmony or they mess it up. But if our desires are so strong, and we were saying earlier how easily they're influenced by the world around us, how do we even know what our Dharma is? Like, how do we know we're not just buying into someone else's idea of what we should be doing?
That's the journey, right? It's this ongoing process of figuring out who you are. And it's not always easy, but the book offers this guiding principle. It's a quote from the Bhagavad Gita. Do your karma without expectation of reward.
Whoa, that's pretty profound. What do you think it means, like, in light of everything we've talked about today?
For me, it's about shifting your focus. It's not about the outcome so much, it's about your intention. Doing what you know is right, what aligns with your values, without getting hung up on the results. It's about trusting that when you act with integrity, with awareness, the impact you make, it's naturally going to contribute to a better world. Not about personal gain, it's about recognizing we're all in this together and acting accordingly.
I love that. It's about letting go of control in a way, trusting that by focusing on aligning your actions with your Dharma, you're doing your part to create a better future. To like that water ripple analogy again, every choice is like a drop in the bucket. And yeah, we can't predict exactly how it'll all play out, but we can make each drop as intentional, as pure as possible.
Exactly. We're all co-creating our destiny, individually and collectively. By understanding these forces, Niyati, karma, rebirth, Dharma, and by building that strong, discerning mind, we can navigate all the ups and downs with more awareness, more purpose. And in the end, we can create a better, more fulfilling life, both for ourselves and for generations to come.
This deep dive has given me so much to think about. It's like a whole new perspective on destiny, on choice, on the power we all have to shape our lives and the world around us. Thanks for joining me on this journey. And to everyone listening, we want to hear from you. What resonated with you? What are you taking away from this deep dive? Head over to our social media. Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep making those positive ripples.